I have Brad Wheal with us. If you could just identify yourselves before asking a question, that would be great, and use the mic. Do you want maybe one on that side, one on that side?
I'll do it.
You want to start? Suresh, do you want to start?
Yeah. Hi, Brad. Suresh from Cricinfo here. My first question to you is that a few of the opponents in the England side, at least for you, are your county teammates as well. I'm forgetting exactly who, but maybe you can tell me, like, knowing those players from beforehand, and you're not the only one. There are a few others who spend time with Luke Wood and the others like Jones, for example. So could you just tell me a little bit about, of course, without sharing everything, what sort of advantage is that for this opponent, this full member nation as an opponent to you, because you have these inputs compared to, say, some other full member nations?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously helps knowing a little bit more about your opponents. I play with Liam Dawson. He's at Hampshire with me. But yeah, I mean, guys are always passing around bits of info on players that we play against and play with to try get the wool over them. But to be honest now, everyone sort of knows what everyone does. I don't think there's going to be anything that's surprising to anyone, so we're just going to go about it how we normally do. But yeah, it obviously helps a little bit, but we're taking this game sort of and preparing as we would for any other game, regardless of who the opposition is.
My next question to you would be that the other day, Richie Barrington said that he's really looking forward to this contest because, incidentally, it's also a day where the rugby union game is going to be happening. We asked Phil Salt about it, of course, with his background of not really growing up in England. He couldn't care a lot about it. But as a sports-loving fan, a sports lover in the Scottish team and the history of England and Scotland, could you just say like what this match would mean and whether, I mean, the rugby thing also coincidentally, how we look at it. Could you tell me a little bit about this quote-unquote old rivalry which people talk about?
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a pretty cool day for everyone. England playing Scotland in cricket and in the Six Nations. I think it's the Kolkata Cup, and we're playing in Kolkata, so that's quite a coincidence. But it's awesome. I mean, obviously, for everyone, we just want to go out there and do our country proud. So it's a big day for Scottish sport, and obviously a massive opportunity for both teams to get a big win going ahead. So yeah, hopefully we can do the job tomorrow.
From a micro perspective, this game is extremely crucial for both sides, but even for you guys. So of course you don't need any extra motivation, but how are you talking within the unit on how to beat a team like England?
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think we approach this game as we do any other game, but we understand, we realise that it's a very important game and a big game for us. Opportunities like this don't come around that often for us as a team. So we're just got to take this head on and be really brave. We play cricket as we always do, and we're going to be brave and fight the best we can. But as I said, the preparation doesn't change. Obviously, the opponents are who they are, and we take each game exactly the same. But just be aware that it's obviously a big game, and there's a lot riding on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would sound a little repetitive, but you just mentioned, and England are in this state, having lost a match and come close. So, like, how does it affect? How do you feel it's an advantage, or you feel they'll come back very strong? How do you see their approach and your own approach to this?
Yeah, I mean, obviously England have had a pretty good run. They're an incredibly talented team, and we know that they're going to come and be aggressive. That's the sort of way that they've been playing their cricket. But again, I don't think that changes anything we do. We sort of take this game head on and take it for the opportunity that it is. We're going to do our absolute best, but nothing changes in terms of prep. I said we know they're going to come hard at us, and we'll do the same thing back.
Yeah,
yeah. You're going to go, and then over there. Yeah, go.
Yeah, I'm Zafar here. The greatest rivalry between Scotland and England, as you mentioned, started from here, from this city, the City of Joy. So how do you see this rivalry? And in terms of other rivalry in football and other games, how do you see that? And England, they are accustomed to this pitch, the spin track here at the Eden Gardens. How would you cooperate with that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as I said, it's an amazing opportunity for all of us. We haven't had the opportunity to play England a heap loads over the last couple of years. We obviously had a game rained off against them the last World Cup. We had a good result against them, I think it was 2018. But I think that's obviously a long time ago, and we can obviously take some confidence out of that. But it's a completely new team from both sides. And obviously we understand it's a massive rivalry in all sports. But yeah, we just see it as an amazing opportunity to really go out there and just show everyone what we can do as a team.
Hi, Brad. This is Shobik from IBNS. Brad, you are here in this condition for quite some time now. Do you think that will have an upper hand for you? Will it be advantageous for you against England? Though there are some English players who have played in this condition a lot. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the England guys have had a few more players play in the IPL, and they've had a lot more experience in India than a lot of our players have. But we've played 2 games here already now. This will be our 3rd, so it's a great opportunity for us. We've obviously had a bit of time to learn about the conditions and the pitches which has obviously been a great help for us. So we've just got to take what we've learned over these last 2 games and really put that into practice now, come tomorrow. Obviously, it's a big game for everyone, so we're looking forward to it.
Hi, Brad. This World Cup started with a lot of associate teams coming close to beating full member nations now, although Zimbabwe is not an associate team, there was a considerable upset. They beat Australia just now today. What do you think the gap is lessening between the full member and the associate nation, and what do you attribute the lessening to?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think skill levels across the board are getting better and better. Players are getting exposure playing in a few different leagues. There's obviously a spots for a few associate players in teams around the world. And I said, I think at the end of the day, it just comes down to opportunity. You've got guys who are playing a lot more cricket around the world and getting the experience that they need. So that gap is definitely closing. You're seeing, obviously, Nepal had a great game against England. They nearly got across the line. Zim won today against Australia. Those are, I wouldn't call them upsets anymore, but they're games that we should expect at World Cups. And that's the beauty of having this amount of teams at the World Cup, is that these teams that don't always get these opportunities to play against the so-called bigger nations have the chance to really show the world what they can do. And we see that as an opportunity that, well, what we're going to try to do.
Matthew.
Does motivation to want to prove that the teams who don't get as many opportunities as the Englands and the Indias and Australias, is that a motivation to do well at these World Cups?
Yeah, obviously, I think it almost puts a little bit more pressure on these games for us, because it is our only really opportunity to show the world how we can play against these top-tier nations. So, yeah, I mean, again, I don't think it changes much in terms of how we approach these games, but it's definitely in the back of a few guys' minds that these opportunities don't come around every day for a team like us. So, yeah, we've just got to really make sure that we're on it. We obviously prep as best we can and do what we can in the space of time that we've had. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's a game of cricket, and we're going to go out there and give it everything we've got.
And it's fair to say that you'd want more of these opportunities than you currently get.
Yeah, 100%. And as I said, I think that's going to be a big factor in sort of that gap between your associate nations and your full member nations getting closer and closer. It's just the opportunity to play in these big games against the best of the best. Obviously, there's incredible talent pool of players in associate nations that don't always get the opportunity to go out there and play in these games. So yeah, we just see it as an opportunity to really go out there and show the world what we can do.
Can I just ask one more? Phil said that it's every Scots dream to beat England, I think, is what he said. Is that a motivation within the group, like amongst anyone, do you think?
Yeah, of course. I mean, obviously, it's a massive game for us and a big rivalry. We'd love to get one over one of our neighbours. So yeah, I mean, it's always motivation. Any World Cup game's a huge game. But yeah, it'd be great to put one over England.
Yep, that side.
Yeah, I was kind of going to push on that point as well. Like you say that you'll prepare for this game like it was any other game, and you'd expect to hear that from a sports person, but it's not every other game. You've hardly ever got the opportunity to play against England. So, like, do you really think that you'll be coming to the game the same as you would if you were playing Finland or Estonia? Or?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think at the end of the day, there's going to be nerves, and we embrace that as sportsmen. There's going to be moments in the game when things aren't going our way and things when they are, and that's the beauty of the sport. Our job is to perform under pressure, no matter what that looks like. I was more talking just in terms of actual prep and how we get ourselves ready, and then hopefully in those moments we revert back to our training. But obviously there's definitely an understanding that it's a massive game, but I don't think that changes any of the process as to how we go about things. We're just mindful of the enormity of this game, but we're ready to tackle it head on.
And one of the ways rivalries is created is by teams facing each other very frequently. That's kind of what has happened in rugby, but it hasn't happened in cricket. Is there another team that Scotland have faced a huge amount where there is a lot of niggle and a lot of excitement before you play?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we've got a few other nations that we've played against quite frequently. We've obviously played against Nepal a few times. We've had a few run-in against Italy over the last couple of years. And I mean, on the field, there's always going to be competitiveness. There's always going to be these little sort of rivalries. But yeah, as you said, it'd be great to be able to play against England more and sort of build that rivalry up and have these sort of emotions of the past games and the victories, losses, whatever it may be. That'd be a great opportunity for us.
Hello, Brad. Richard Gibson from the Daily Mail. You mentioned about the county connections, and obviously your own connection with Liam. Have you been exchanging messages with him in the build-up to this match? I mean, I guess it'd be pretty normal. And if you have been doing, could you share what they might have been?
Not a huge amount, to be honest. We were meant to have a catch-up now, but I'm up here instead, so I haven't spoken to him too much. But yeah, they've obviously been all over the place. We've been here for the last couple of weeks, so I'm sure they're wanting to get some info on the conditions and how it's been out here. But I'm sure most of the lads will be pretty tight-lipped about that sort of stuff.
And for those of us that have arrived recently, I know that you obviously were late entrance to the competition, and I think most of you were you already in training personally before you came here?
Yeah, I was in training, so I was sort of building up, doing a bit of rehab, and the timing actually couldn't have been any better. So I just sort of got up to 100% again. I think if this tournament was a couple of weeks earlier, I wouldn't have been fit. And to be honest, most of the lads were obviously doing some sort of training and ticking over. But it's obviously a little bit of a change coming outdoors from what the guys have been doing up in Scotland. But yeah, we've had a nice little build-up now over the last couple of weeks, and it's been good to get back out on grass and get ready for these games.
And do you think in any way that the fact that you were sort of so late entrance and were thrown in, has that helped in some way, just to be able to have to hit the ground running and get on with things?
Yeah, I mean, I think it definitely takes the sort of nerves out of it because you're just sort of thrust into the situation. But like I said, at the end of the day, the guys have been training hard. They know their skills and they back their talents. So regardless of the build-up and the prep we've had, I said over the last couple of weeks, we've sort of come together as a squad and sort of accepted the situation for what it is. And we've just got to sort of band together and work together as a team to figure out how to win these games of cricket.
Hi, Brad. Before the announcement that you guys were in the World Cup, was there, in the sort of a week or so before, was there a sense, there's a chance here we need to kind of get our act together in case? How did that work?
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the guys had one eye on the news, but we're never sort of expecting a call up this late. Obviously, the situation was completely out of our hands, and it's very hard to sort of take those decisions to say, right, we're just going to go and train and get ready as if we're going, because I don't think that's fair on the other guys who've missed out. But yeah, I think the guys definitely had an eye on the news, and we're just sort of waiting to see what happened. But as I said, completely out of our control. So guys were in training and ready to go for the series that's coming up now in Namibia. So I think that was the primary goal when we got the call.
And have there been any messages exchanged between you guys and rugby squad ahead of the games tomorrow?
Not that I know of. I mean, I'm not sure many of the guys know each other, to be honest. But yeah, hopefully there's 2 wins tomorrow on the board for the Scots.
Yep.
Hi there. Hi, Brad. Just a question on 2024, and obviously you had England a bit on the ropes. Can you talk a little bit about the disappointment of that and whether it sort of makes you extra motivated to show that it wasn't especially a one-off?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it was a frustrating game in the end because we obviously got off to a fly with the bat, and there was a decent chance that we could have defended that total. Not saying it would have been easy. I mean, it was a wet outfield, wet ball in Barbados on a pretty good wicket. But yeah, I think it definitely fuels the motivation because I think probably players from both sides of the other camp would have said, oh no, we would have won that game easily. But yeah, it's definitely motivating because we again want to just go out there and prove to everyone what we can do. Obviously, frustrating that game never went ahead, and I said we haven't really had much opportunities against these guys over the last few years. So yeah.
Okay. Last one.
Hi, Brad. Just staying with yourself, you were obviously playing in that warm-up in Bengaluru with a shirt of Jack Jarvis's. Thankfully, you have your own shirt now. Just talk us through the past few days as you faced them. Lots of sponsorships have come for yourself and the rest of the crew. Of course, your women's team also went on to qualify for the T20 World Cup. How has that all played out, not just for the playing core itself, but also for the support staff members?
I mean, everyone's obviously done an amazing job to pull us together and get us to where we are today. It was obviously a little bit chaotic, trying to get all the kit sorted, get everyone together and figure out what we're doing. So yeah, I mean, I didn't have any kit with me. I was rehabbing in South Africa, so I had to get kit flown over from Scotland straight to India, hence why I was wearing Jack Jarvis's shirt. He wasn't too chuffed when I was getting whacked around. But yeah, I mean, the staff and everyone have done an amazing job to get us here in such a short space of time. I mean, the logistics and all the stuff that's gone on behind the scenes has been incredible, so we can only give them credit and say thank you.
Thank you very much.